A military command center can maintain flawless firewalls and encrypted networks, yet still execute a catastrophic error in judgment. This failure occurs because defense professionals routinely mistake the information domain, the networks that carry data, for the cognitive domain, the human minds that interpret it. The study Cognitive Battlespace, War in the Human Dimension, by Lieutenant General Iyengar and Chandra Nath, provides the structural foundation for redefining conflict. Securing military data networks becomes irrelevant once an adversary compromises a commander's ability to evaluate the reality that data represents. Military doctrine classifies information warfare as the contest over the flow of data across networks. This column shows the primary targets: physical infrastructure and decision cycles, degraded through cyber means. Cognitive warfare weaponizes neuroscience and psychology to alter human perception, belief, and trust. While information operations deliver tactical shifts in situational awareness, cognitive operations aim for a deep, persistent restructuring of a society's collective memory and identity. The decisive terrain of 21st century conflict resides in the psychological framework a commander uses to construct meaning from received data. The OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, act, is the architecture of military decision-making. Traditional cyber attacks the observe node, blocking sensors to blind the target. But cognitive operations bypass observation entirely, infecting the orient node, where a person's biases reside. This orientation is hacked through the mechanics of human neurobiology. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman's dual process model suggests the brain operates in two distinct modes: the fast, intuitive System 1 and the slow, analytical System 2. Military command environments impose physiological stress and cognitive overload, degrading the analytical System 2 pathway. Adversaries exploit this by flooding the battle space with emotionally salient, identity-based narratives, forcing the brain to route information through the fast, unverified System 1. By trapping targets in System 1 processing, adversaries manipulate the orientation phase, ensuring the target makes a self-damaging decision while believing they are acting logically. Historically, psychological operations moved slowly, but human-machine cognitive convergence accelerates influence to machine speed. Algorithms now perform precision cognitive targeting by extracting behavioral telemetry, patterns of pauses, clicks, and interactions to map individual psychological vulnerabilities. AI engines use this telemetry to micro-target social fractures, overwhelming human institutional response. Synthetic media and deepfakes, AI-generated fabrications impersonating real individuals, serve as the primary payload. These tools generate the liar's dividend. The objective isn't necessarily convincing the public of specific fabrications. Instead, the mere existence of deepfakes creates a persistent baseline of doubt, allowing adversaries to dismiss genuine, factual evidence as fabricated. The ultimate objective is the total systemic collapse of institutional trust, rendering truth operationally useless. State actors have already operationalized these mechanics. The Russian doctrine of reflexive control provides a clear formalization of cognitive targeting. This method feeds curated, misleading environmental cues into an adversary's decision matrix, causing them to voluntarily choose a predetermined, self-defeating action. In contrast, China's intelligentized warfare framework seeks mind dominance by integrating AI and big data into every layer of conflict. The PLA's three warfares triad, public opinion, psychological, and legal warfare, is used to establish cognitive footholds long before the first kinetic strike. The Pakistani vector utilizes an intelligence communications nexus, where the ISPR and ISI coordinate media operations and narrative campaigns to sow internal division. During the 2019 Pulwama incident, proxies used misleading visuals to distort the reality of responsibility at machine speed, saturating the digital environment. Authoritarian states treat cognitive manipulation as a primary, continuous offensive designed to win wars before they physically start. This raises a strategic challenge: building a defense system for a battle space that exists inside the human mind. Securing the national cognitive space requires the establishment of cognitive sovereignty, a strategy built on integrated military-civilian frameworks. This strategy operates across 3 layers of resilience: societal, organizational, and individual. At the organizational layer, managing cognitive load and data saturation is essential to prevent commander paralysis. At the societal layer, democracies must move toward a proactive trust architecture, institutional integrity that shrinks the space available for algorithmic manipulation. Democracies must actively inoculate their institutions and communities against algorithmic fragmentation. The innermost ring of defense is the individual. Resisting cognitive warfare requires specific biological and psychological conditioning. Indian military doctrine integrates indigenous civilizational wisdom as a tactical defensive tool for this purpose. Warfighters utilize the Indian yoga system, specifically pranayama, breath regulation, and dhyana, meditation. These practices physiologically improve prefrontal cortex functioning, actively defending the System 2 rational judgment pathways against emotional hijacking. This physiological resilience is anchored in the principle of dharma, ensuring influence operations elevate human autonomy rather than diminishing it through coercion. Modern warfare is a race for decision clarity amidst a relentless fog of synthetic noise. Victory belongs to the force that can think faster, decide clearer, and fiercely protect the mental autonomy of its people. The human mind is the ultimate high ground.